I've taken my grandmother's Singer Model 9913, really my 9913, out of the case again, and I'm going to put the hand crank back on it. Someone on the Treadalon list had mentioned that, and I haven't spoken with him again yet, he said that the wires may not need to be cut. He said it would be easy to disconnect the wires without cutting them. But I am not an electrician. And I know there is a pattern to how these get attached. And I did just move the camera like that. It didn't go vertical. I believe what he's saying is I can unscrew the wires from here and take the motor off. And then push them, these wires, down in where the controller is, and it would not, I wouldn't have to cut any wires. So what I want to do, I would have to mark those wires with tape, like colored tape, so that like green goes with green, red goes with red, because I'm not good at reading electrical schematics, and I know I won't put it back together right. But in the meantime, I just want to look in here and see if I can see what's in here and what the controller looks like. That had a washer on top of it before the screw came out. If you take yours off, no mice, I hope. Pretty dirty though. Now that's much simpler. If those are the two wires that come in, and one goes to one side and one goes to the other, then it looks like I can just remove those two leads and take the motor off. It is pretty dirty in there, but there aren't any sign of mice or anything. But then I'm trying to see how the controller, it looks like some of those are screws and some of those are the ends of screws, so it must screw in from the bottom. If you look, those where the screwdriver is, that might be the end of a screw. This looks like it's the end of a screw coming up from the bottom. So does this right here, but there are screws here. So that's what the motor controller area looks like. And it looks like it could either be disconnected right here with these two leads. It looks like those two wires just come in, go through a little retaining ring, and attach to the motor controller. So I could actually, those are these two wires right here. So I could actually probably just disconnect the wires in there and take the motor and the light right off. I would still, unless I removed everything, I would still lose this as an accessory area, but it would remove the motor and light from the case, and I would be able to keep the base in the case. There had been a seller on Etsy that had base bottoms for about $30, and I checked and they're no longer on Etsy, and those that are on eBay are going for $145 or thereabouts. I think the cheapest was $130. For me, that's too much to pay for a new base when I have this case. But I did think it was a good idea to just show you how this seems to be wired. Anybody with any electrical sense could either disconnect it from here with these knobs, or, like I just showed, disconnect it from in there. I don't have any electrical sense, so I'm going to think about this a little bit more before I decide. Now, one other thing I wanted to mention in this video was there were a couple of replies on the bobbin winder fixes. And I had mentioned in my video about possibly using a treadle belt. It turns out other people have used clear tubing in that way, and the same as the gasket on the arm for the hand crank. But there is another fix, and let me just pick up the machine. There were two other fixes. One person said you can remove this screw completely and just let the bobbin winder hang down as far as it will go. And the other fix, you still have to push it down a little bit, but because this is not fastened in any way, it goes down far enough to hit a spoked hand wheel. And the other fix was to take the screw out, move the bracket all the way to the right, and then put the screw back in with the edge of the bracket hitting the right hand side of the screw. And what that does is push the bobbin winder as far to the right as possible. And again, you still may have to do that to wind a bobbin, but those are the replies I've gotten on the bobbin winder, and that's what the inside of the controller looks like.